What happened to Lucy Charles? What really happened to her? They say that she slipped and fell into the River Dee. But is that really what happened to her? There's something about this case that just doesn't seem to add up, just like the Nicola Bulley case. Something stinks here, guys. Let's have a little look into this. Lucy Charles worked in a bar. She was 39 years old, and she was last seen in Bangor-on-Dee near Wrexham on December the 22nd, just before Christmas. The police, mountain rescue, and the fire service were all involved in the search for her. The tragic news broke out on January the 12th, 2024, that a body had been found. An inquest has heard that her body was found about 2 miles downstream after the waters finally receded 3 weeks later. John Gittins, senior coroner for North Wales East and Central, said a search team discovered Miss Charles's body near Dongray Hall Farm. So Lucy was found about 2 miles downstream from where the items of her property had been found on the riverbank. And the police have stated that they do not find this death suspicious. And the reason why they don't find it suspicious, well, one of the reasons is because her items were found on the riverbank. Now for me, that makes things all the more suspicious, because if somebody did do something to Lucy, maybe they deliberately put her things there to make it look like that she took her own life. If you guys remember, when Nicola Bulley's phone was found, Peter Folding said that it may have been left there as a decoy. Now, this could have been the same sort of situation in Lucy's case. And I think one of the issues that we keep coming across when we talk about these things is that the police never seem to question anything when it comes to cases like this. Now, why is that? Why do they always take the easy option and say that she must have just fallen in the river or that she took her own life? Why do they never question anything at all? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in the Nicola Bulley case, the police kept pushing their own narrative. They kept pushing the same hypothesis again and again. Now, there seems to be a pattern here, because North Wales police, just like the Lancashire police when it came to the Nicola Bulley case, have made it their working hypothesis that Miss Charles must have fallen into the River Dee accidentally that day and was swept to her death. Before the tragic discovery, relatives were said to be clinging on to the hope that Miss Charles will be found alive while preparing for the worst. Earlier, her mother Vicky posted on Facebook, "Lucy is still missing. Please, please keep sharing. I love you so much." She asked locals in Bangor-on-Dee to help. She wrote, "Just check any dashcam or ring doorbells and keep everything crossed for Lucy's return." After revealing that a body had been found, Chief Inspector Stephen Roberts said, "My thoughts are with Lucy's family and friends at this difficult time." In response to the tragic news, her mother simply posted a string of broken heart emojis, adding she was loved so much. Paying tribute, Lucy's friend Jeanette Proctor wrote, "Lucy was a lovely person, inside and out. It was such a terrible tragedy." She went on to say she'll be missed by all who had the pleasure to have to meet her. Chloe Wilkinson posted, "Forever grateful for the love and care she showed me. Growing up, I idolized her. Lucy was always tanned and the gorgeous and kind girl." Miss Charles's social media shows a busy social life with recent foreign holidays and nights out with her partner, Ian Beach. Now, her social media shows that she had a social life, she had a busy social life, she was happy, she was going on holidays, she was going out with her partner on a regular basis. Now all these things indicate that she definitely wouldn't have wanted to unalive herself. Her last public post 3 days before she was last seen read simply, "I love my mummy." Now some of you may be thinking, well, top level, what is it about this case that makes it so suspicious to you? Well guys, that I'm about to reveal. What I'm about to talk about makes this case very, very strange. The objective of these videos is to create awareness and to try and find the truth. We do not want to live in a world full of lies, especially when it comes to people's lives. The victims in these videos often have children, like Nicola Bulley. She had 2 children. Now these kids have to grow up without their mother. So if somebody has done something to these women, then they must be caught and the truth must be found. Things like this cannot be covered up. They shouldn't be covered up. We cannot live in a world where things like this are being covered up. Now, if we look at the approach that the police took with Lucy Charles's case, they had a leading hypothesis, a leading theory that she must have fallen into the river. Now, let's discuss this for a while and try and make sense of the way that the police are thinking, because I personally think that they haven't got a clue and they actually don't know how to do their jobs. And I'll tell you why. Because in a statement they said that they don't find it suspicious because of the fact that her belongings were found on the riverbank. Now, on the other side, they're saying that their leading hypothesis is that she's fallen into the river. Now, as we all know, if somebody fell into the river, they would have their belongings on them. Why would the belongings be left on the riverbank? You see, what the police are saying, they're contradicting themselves. On one hand, they're saying that they don't find it suspicious because the belongings are on the riverbank. And on the other hand, they're saying that she must have fallen into the river. Well, just like the Nicola Bulley case, you know, the phone was there. Why was Nikki's phone not in her pocket or in her hand when she fell into the river? Why was it found on the bench? Now, all of these things need to be looked at. We need to question these things to try and find the truth. Now, the police are contradicting themselves with their investigations. So how can they find the truth? Now, somebody must come forward. Somebody must know more about all these deaths. These women cannot be just unaliving themselves or just falling into the rivers. All of a sudden, all these middle-aged women have become clumsy and they're just falling into the river. I mean, that's just ridiculous what the police want us to believe. We're not talking about tourists or people that have never been to the area. For example, Nicola Bulley, she went on that walk with Willow many, many times. She knew how that river was. She knew the ground. She knew the area. Same as Lucy. Lucy was a frequent visitor to this river. She used to read books there and spend time there. These women know these rivers. They know the surrounding areas of these rivers. They know the danger spots. They have not just fallen in like what the police want us to believe. These hypotheses and narratives that they're coming out with are just a joke. They're ridiculous. I think it's time that they start doing their job and start investigating these things properly and eliminate if really there is no suspect in each of these situations. Investigate whether these things really are suspicious or not. not just all the time sticking to the same hypothesis that this person must have just fallen into the river, this person must have been drunk and just fallen into the river, or this person must have unalived themselves. It's ridiculous. It's like they just can't be bothered to do their jobs properly. And the amount of families that must have been misinformed about what's happened to their loved ones, the amount of families that have just been told that their partners or sisters or brothers or daughters or mothers have just fallen into the river, and they've had to accept that as the truth. This is not right, guys. It's just not right. You see, after the Nicola Bulley case, this has happened again and again and again up and down the country, and yet nobody is finding this suspicious. And what's more worrying, that at times when the police need the public, like when Nicola Bulley went missing, they seem to want to shut the public down. They didn't want the public's help. They thought that they were too clever for the public. Now, why is that? In the past, the police have always relied on the public. Something is not right. Something has changed. It almost feels like that even if the public have got any information, then the police will not take it seriously. Like if we look at the Nicola Bulley case again, the man in black, or the screams being heard, we weren't told about that until right at the end. Now, why is that? Why was that information not given out to the public at a crucial time? Why was that information withheld from the public? Now, surely you would want the public to know about that if there was a suspicious man dressed in black, or if there were screams heard, in case there were any other witnesses that could corroborate that. But yet they withheld that information. It's like they didn't want the public's help. They didn't want to find the truth. Now, why would they not want to find the truth? Because all of these things seem to be a cover-up. Earlier on, I mentioned something that I find very, very strange about this case regarding Lucy. Well, you see, the last known sighting of her was at 5:34 p.m. on December the 22nd, and this was after dark. She was wearing a high visibility jacket for reasons which have not been explained. Now guys, they cannot explain why the last time she was ever captured on CCTV, she was wearing a high visibility jacket. This is the last image that we have of Lucy, and for some reason she's wearing a high vis jacket. Now, why would she be wearing a high vis jacket, and why have they not been able to explain it? You would think that somebody in her family or a friend would be able to explain why she's got a high visibility jacket and why she's wearing one. But nobody seems to have a clue. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh well, top level, it's just a high visibility jacket. I mean, what's the big deal? Guys, the ordinary person would not just be wearing a high vis jacket. And if somebody owns a high vis jacket, somebody in their family or a friend should know that. Now, because this can't be explained, it makes this case ever so more suspicious to me. Now, some of you may know about the Gaynor Lord case. I made a video about that, and if some of you haven't seen it, then please go back and have a look at it, because there was something very strange that happened to her also in the last moments. Her behavior was just not explainable. She left work early. She was running towards somewhere, as if she was going to meet someone, as if she was in a rush, as if she was late to get somewhere. Nothing about Gaynor Lord's behavior at the end made any sense whatsoever. There seems to be more and more things about these cases that just can't be explained. And if they can't be explained, it makes them so much more suspicious. Something is going on here.